All right, let's talk about one of the most common, and let's be honest, one of the most frustrating errors you can hit in QuickBooks, Error 151006. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Today, we're going to walk through, step by step, exactly how to fix it so you can get your updates done and just get back to your work. Let's jump in. So you know the scene, right? You're just trying to get your work done, you go to run a simple update, something you've done a million times before, and bam, everything just grinds to a halt. This little error message pops up and you're completely stuck. Does this look familiar? Yeah, this is the one. It's the exact message that can just stop you dead in your tracks. It's kind of vague, a little alarming, and it definitely leaves you sitting there going, what on earth does that even mean?
And that's a perfectly good question. The error message really doesn't give you much to go on. But don't you worry, that is exactly what we are here to figure out. We're going to break down what's actually happening behind the scenes and, more importantly, show you how to fix it.
Okay, so before we jump right into the solutions, it's actually super helpful to understand the root of the problem. You know, knowing why something is happening makes the fixes make a whole lot more sense. So here's the key thing to realize. Error 15106 isn't really a problem with QuickBooks itself. Nope, it's actually a classic case of your computer's own security getting in the way. The issue is with the Windows installer program on your machine. Something is either blocking it, or maybe it's gotten a little damaged, and that's what's preventing QuickBooks from finishing its update. Okay, so if the Windows installer is the problem, what's causing it to act up? Well, there are usually four main suspects behind this error, and pretty much all of them have to do with security settings and permissions on your computer. And what's interesting is how all of these are kind of connected. A lot of the time, an antivirus program, especially one like WebRoot, sees the QuickBooks update, thinks it's a threat, and just blocks it. Or it could be that your Windows user account control settings are just a little too strict. Or maybe you're just not logged in with the right admin rights to get the job done. All right, enough about the problem. Let's get to the good stuff, the solutions. The great news is there are four really straightforward fixes you can try all by yourself, and we're going to walk through every single one of them right now. So our very first fix is going to target something called the Windows User Account Control, or UAC for short. Think of it as a built-in security guard that can sometimes be a little overzealous and get in the way of perfectly safe programs like QuickBooks. Now, the process here is actually pretty simple. All you're really doing is toggling the UAC setting. Just head into your control panel to find it. The logic is, if it's currently on, maybe turning it off will remove the block. But if it's already off, turning it on can sometimes reset the permissions and solve the conflict. Whatever you do, just make sure you do a quick restart to make the changes stick. Okay, so if messing with the UAC didn't do the trick, no big deal. Our next strategy is to install the update in what's called selective startup mode. This is a great way to bypass software conflicts because it basically starts your computer with only the bare minimum programs running. Now listen up, because the most important part of this whole process is step one. Always, always, always back up your company files before you start making system-level changes. Once you've got that safe and sound, you can switch over to selective mode, run that QuickBooks update without anything getting in its way, and then just switch right back to your normal startup. All right, on to fix number 3. And this one tackles one of the most common culprits we mentioned earlier, your antivirus software. Programs like WebRoot, which you might also know as SpySweeper, are, believe it or not, a really frequent cause of error 15106. Yep, this is a classic case of a program that's designed to protect you accidentally getting in your way. So if you have WebRoot installed, the most direct solution is to just temporarily uninstall it through your control panel. Once it's gone and you've restarted your computer, try that QuickBooks update again. You can always reinstall your antivirus right after the update is finished. Okay, here it is, our final DIY solution. Now this one's a little more hands-on, I'll admit, but it can be incredibly effective if you've got a stubborn permissions issue that's blocking that update folder. So here's how this works. First, you're going to temporarily disable your antivirus using the Task Manager. With the antivirus snoozing, you'll then go find the QuickBooks Program folder. By simply renaming it, just adding -old to the end of the name, you can often break whatever incorrect security link was blocking the update. Then just restart and try the update again. Easy peasy. So, let's say you've tried all 4 of our fixes, but that pesky error message is still popping up. First things first, don't panic. Sometimes the problem is just buried a little deeper than a simple DIY fix can reach. And the main thing to remember here is that there is absolutely no shame in calling for backup.
I mean, QuickBooks has a dedicated technical support team for a reason. These folks have seen it all, and they have the tools to figure out and fix those more complex system issues.
So, by working through these steps, you've really taken control of the problem. You are now fully equipped to tackle error 15106 whenever it shows up. So the only question left is, with this error out of your way, what are you going to accomplish next? Thanks for tuning in.